Okay, so we are here at the feast. We are gonna make a decision, and yeah. My voice sounded stupid, and I raised my hand. Everyone looked at me. I was even more tense than I imagined. However, now that I've spoken up, my hesitation was gone. I, Haruki Pasusashi, am the snake. Made that as clear as possible. I invested in Kiyonosuke, no Sato, and Takumi Moro-san. They're both humans. Their reaction was strangely calm. There you go. It goes without saying. But I'm admitting it that I'm a human. Same here. Why did you keep quiet about this until now? Like Yasunaka-kun said, completing the fixed majority requires 6 people normally. I would have needed to use my guardian once more. But then, Mom suddenly revealed herself to be all but certainly a human, prompting you to act ahead of schedule, right? Yes, I do apologize for staying silent until now. However, when Mamiya-san declaration was such a obvious trap, I could no longer announce my role. I then gave them a mostly accurate summary of my intentions, similar to the one that I gave to Takumi-san.
初日からそれっぽいことを言ってたのはやっぱり本当だったんだね。
Yes, I mistimed some things, though, so I probably sounded a bit fishy. Anyway, that's all for me for now. Do you accept that, Konzo? We still left the final call to Konzo. It was actually a good thing it was like that. Though some people resisted him, he was well respected here. A split here could destroy the fixed majority.
昨日言ったな。特別な力なんてねえって。
I knew he would go there. Like I just said, I couldn't reveal my identity until now.
どうして
What do you mean?
死ぬ気はねえだろ。
I'm sure I told you that I couldn't die. That was because I still had to fulfill my role as the snake.
嘘つきはくくるのが宴の鉄則じゃ。
I didn't lie.
やっすん、なんで嘘つきはダメなの？
Humans search for the wolves under the assumption that humans don't lie, because that's something that wolves definitely do. Exactly, it was wise to create a situation where exposed lies could lead to the discovery of the wolves, and lying humans are harmful to humans. That's why I said I didn't have any special powers, rather than I didn't have a guardian. After all, I don't have any special powers, do I? I don't have any superpowers, do I? Yes, that's what I thought when I heard that. I figured your roundabout phrasing was implying something.
信じられるか。そもそもがよそもんで、素性も知れん。嘘もついとった。
He said that Kyo and I are humans.
狼だろうが、言えることよ。
He wasn't wrong there. If I was a wolf and got comfortable on the human side like I was trying to do now, the humans would be as good as dead. After all, I could investigate the other wolf and just say that they were human, adding them to confirm human counts. If I did that, in a few days, we'd get a situation where all the suspicious people were gone while the feast was still going on. This was a waste of time to recover from. In a sense, the fate of humans depended on whether they believed me or not. It was a huge gamble for them. But why? Why wasn't any wolf taking this chance? So you're saying he is a wolf who is using Moro and I to survive. That's not impossible, but...
私は久石さんを信じますよ。隠し事はしても本当に害のあることは考えない方だと思いますから。
She was overestimating me, but at the moment I appreciated it. My reason for that is Fujiyoshi-san analyzed the feast with reason similar to mine and is so far doing the logical thing for the sake of the humans. I appreciate it made me want to buy him a drink once he was old enough. I trust him too,
なぜじゃ。
'cause I believe he ain't planning on dying. You're afraid that he might pick the wrong targets and we ended up with a feast that's not ending even when we got rid of all the wolves, right? If that happened, everyone would hang. He's an outsider. He's not gonna die for Yasumizu's sake. That's why he wouldn't say a lie that'd get him killed. It's also why he didn't come out when you said that all snakes should be hanged. But the situation is different now. And now that he's out in the open, he's probably thinking he can even get the spider to protect him. Was he being honest? Or is he only saying that to make Konzo more tolerant? Whatever the case, his analysis was correct. No comment. That's why I couldn't respond honestly. I couldn't lie or gather more than I already had. To my surprise, Konzo chuckled. It sounded like a mocking laugh. Did this mean he now accepted I was just a cowardly outsider? If that were the case, he probably wouldn't lend an ear to any of my proposals. After all, I wouldn't give my life.
じゃあ聞くが、この6人で誰をくくろうってのか。
I didn't think about it yet. What about you, Kyo? You got someone?
植松のくくる。
Because she voted for Teiba?
うん。
Got something to say?
必要ならばくくられもしましょう。私とて所詮は安水とは縁短きもの。ただ一つ申し上げるならば、私は雲の加護を受けました。
She has the spider as the guardian? What? That was her play. But Rikako-san was... That
そう
was...
だ。じゃあ1日目に誰守ったか言え。
Right? No one died then. It would help to know that.
おととい私がお守りを願ったのはあなた様です。
That made sense. Sounds true to me. The old fart was pretty loud on the first day. The wolf saw that too.
昨日は織部安永様を
Me? But I didn't do much yesterday.
正直を申し上げれば、牧島様よりも織部安永様の方が私にとって加護を存在に扱われるのは
Well, Takumi-san was choosing his words carefully. We couldn't shoot down all of Konzo's suggestions. If he became too emotional, he could destroy our fixed majority. However, I was more or less certain that Rikako-san was human. I'd made a theory that she was using Meiko, and just now she named herself the spider rather than a snake. For me, all of those things made sense. So,
No, no.
what happened next was completely unexpected.
雲なんじゃが。へへへ。
We'd always thought that the old wolf guy and Meiko wouldn't take part in the feast. Boy, were we wrong. After all, their only contribution was their votes, so to tell what they're based on. They were just two swing votes who were otherwise harmless, and best left ignored. It wasn't that simple though. Unlike last time, we had exceptions like me. Everyone here was participating in the feast the way they were supposed to. And I believe the super old guy is the spider. That was why everyone could have a guardian of some sort, even if they were too childish or senile to make good use of it. I've been actually afraid that they would waste their guardian. I didn't expect him to come out as a second spider. However, why him of all people? Why the spider?
じじい、ほんと雲じゃ。植松のは。
私は雲です。ゴロ
嘘つきは我じゃろうが。
Old man, sorry about this, but I always assumed to be senile and nothing else. Do you understand this situation? Hey, was he like this in the previous feast?
昔からこいつはこんなよ。宴の時も役立たずで。
Mochi, you're friends with him, right? What do you
う
think?
ーん、ごめん。僕にとって他人はみんなよくわかんないから。じっちゃん、元気？元気だって。
How troublesome. Who did you protect first and last night? Listen, our lives are the lines here if you're just messing around.
守ったのはあ
He
れ
ended
じゃ。
the question by raising his fingers and pointing at Yasunaga-kun. On which day?
お
もしかして。
On both?
おお
He responded with a smile. That means that the wolves went for
わ
Yasun
からな
first.
くはないかしら。
Hey, why
な
him?
んでもねえよ。
適当？
おう
That definitely wasn't a good standard for deciding who to protect from death. What was this about anyways? Wait, could it be? The badger. What's wrong? Fusashi? Remember when I told you that there might be a badger? Because there are badgers in prayer to Shinai in the shrine, but it's so minor, and don't you think it's a bit of a stretch to assume that they would be humans who serve the wolves? Well, in this situation, it doesn't really matter whether the badger exists or not. All that we know is that either Reikeko or the old guy are lying. No arguments against that. Honestly, I thought they were both lying, but I more or less knew what Reikeko was going for. She was probably ordering and controlling Mako, the real spider, effectively making her the one who protected people. That was why the info she gave about how she used the power was correct. In a way, she was the spider's representative. The advantage of this method was that even if she died, the real spider would survive. Of course, Mako wouldn't have someone helping her make decisions if Reikako-san died, limiting the Guardian's effectiveness. Even so, if the spider the wolves thought was dead was actually alive, it could turn the tides of the endgame. The spider was best kept hidden at all costs, but Reikako-san revealed it, so it drew the votes towards her. She used it for her own plan. I didn't know how accurate assumption was, but it did seem like an effective course of action, though she probably didn't expect a sudden fake. It was day 3 and fixed majority was becoming a reality, yet no wolves came out. We all knew the dangers of the wolves taking the snake's role, while taking the crow would help them hide the amount of wolves still alive. However, there was next to no point in pretending to be a spider. Even if you claimed to be a spider and said you would protect someone, then even if no one died, you could still be suspected of being a wolf. However, there was an exception. It was effective in helping the wolves know who the badger was. It was probably true that Konzo-san was the target the first day. That was why the wolves, who knew what we were aiming for that day, had recognized Reikeko-san was the real deal. They also understood that the old wolf guy was lying. That meant that the wolves, prospectively, he was a human who just told a lie. It was too obvious. The wolves knew about the badger. The wolves and their ally needed to be proactive about lying. The old wolf guy defied that rule, letting the wolves know what he was. With his Sako, my Mimiya-san's death, they had lost a vote, but with this, they now had 3 again. Also, Konzo-san was considering his opponent, Reikeko-san, as the next candidate. In this situation, we had to make good use of the 6 confirmed humans and hang the lying spider. The easiest choice was to trust Kanzo-san's decision and vote for Rekako. By gathering wolves, badger, and confirmed humans votes, Rekako-san would be sent to the tree. It was a chance for the wolves to kill the spider and make them think that the humans killed the wolf. That was really effective for them and extremely dangerous for us. Even if the real spider, Mako, survived, it would be real difficult for me to talk about the badger and explain that Reikako-san was a fake spider on their side. I had to convince the humans that they should hang the wolf guy instead. Was that really right, though? I had to think carefully. I only came to understand Reikako's intentions because she told me to vote. In particular, I was assuming that she both and the wolf guy had some ulterior motives. Capable of that, he played with a pretty useless guardian. Maybe he'd come out because he found it strange that another spider had named themselves. In fact, he was the most natural reaction, especially in the other's eyes. Same went for Reikako-san. From what I saw, she was more legend. What if she was actually thinking about by protecting Mako, she would actually consider a good guy and avoid getting votes? What if her affection for me was all part of the plan? This was obviously the more reasonable line of thinking. Also, Reikako-san could have been lying to let the wolves know something. In a ways, we had a relatively sane young woman going against a relatively old senile man, no matter how you looked at it.
植松のてめえ嘘だな。
The choice was obvious.
違います。
じゃあどうして今になって言った？てめえ一度何票か入った時に言ったな。
はい、申し上げました。
じゃあなぜ今くくられそうになって過去を言い出した？
She fell silent. I couldn't tell whether it was to protect Mako or just an awkward silence because, yeah.
決まったろうが。
What about you people?
私は安永の票に任せましょう。その
Yeah, that's right. Kiyo?
はい、野里様。間違いごなんかどっちも嘘くさいな。
Kamoshida, if you got nothing better to say, then shut
お姉
up.
ちゃん大丈夫。あなたの
なんかおかしくない？公平じゃないよ。リカ子さんこれまでずっとなんでおじいちゃんがいきなり言い出したことで全部ひっくり返るの？っていうかなんでいきなり言い出したの？お
Jimmy?
じいちゃんは誰かに言わされてるかもしれないし、リカ子さんだって決心や考えが揺らいでるかもしれないじゃん。何が本当なんてわからないよ。なのに簡単に答え出して人を殺そうって感覚、本当危ないよ。
I know, but in the end, it's either you believe or you don't. Vasashi, what do you think? What was I to do? How was I to approach this? I'm gonna vote for Rikeko, cause old wolf guy is he's old. He's gonna die anyways, but like, gonna vote for Rikeko. Doubting others was essentially my creed. That's because I believed it was more logical to trust only oneself. When I came back to that role, it was trusting as openly as I had so far was an exception for me. It made more sense to doubt her. So, I said it. I can't say I trust Reikako at this time.
票を取れ。
Please wait. I'll use my guardian to investigate which one of them is telling the truth today, so please wait for today. Then we're supposed to kill Kamoshida
殺
or
す気か
Genie?
ハッサン。
春明さん、嘘でしょ？いいのです。春明様。
No, it isn't. Hey, what's going on? What's Reikako trying to do? You don't need anyone
いいのです。皆様がおっしゃる通り、私は 私は人ですが、私はこれ以上退場することで最後の
Reikako-san. Tan-san shouted louder than before, shutting me up. If you wanted to help that young woman, you should have trusted her. Her fate was sealed the moment you failed to do that. No. By not saying that, you implied her survival wasn't necessary for the humans to achieve victory. At least you didn't believe it was. The moment you couldn't deny, that was the moment your choice was made. So settle this like a man. I'd never been more resentful of my role than I was now. I propose we hang Reikako.
はい。
Why couldn't I just trust her?
縄は植松として藤吉の意味と汚れの森人として
She said it.
恥じるところない最後を自らなしてご覧に入れます。
No one rebunked her. For all that understood her action, they were the men to face her fate. She was right. And then, we reached the cliff at the hanging pine. Reikako turned away, faced the cliff, and chanted.
修上具部大三礼映写官位大号へ時間を問題5年南無神内大権現
Her words were dedicated at no one. They were particularly into the mist. She clapped her hands and bowed, similar to Yasumizu's bow. Reikako looked back
さようなら
and spoke only those words. She paid no heed. Her black sleeves fluttered, and she threw herself into the mist. After several seconds, we heard a crunching sound.
聞いちゃダメ
Jimmy covered Mako's ears. You. This was all your fault. If you hadn't said that. No, that's wrong. This is all. Why did we let this happen? Asato-san, leave him be. He's still a man. A woman's death hurts. Let's go back. We returned to the dining hall, but all of us were caught up in depression. This was barely anyone who wasn't feeling the loss of Tae-san. Excluding the old man. We didn't know if we could expect all his spider. Meiko had cried herself to sleep, had been left in the place while Mekino no Skeshi had returned to his mansion. Aside from that, everyone else was here.
元気が出るものを作らなきゃね。
Since her sons were still alive, she was probably in relatively better mood than the rest of us. I had stopped helping with the cleanups. They said there was because they put a snake at risk out in the mist. So I just sat by myself. Chimi was talking to the boys, talking in consideration to lift up her spirits. It seems she had no intentions of talking to the old wolf guy.
春明様
The old
お話をその
Before long, Kori-san making the food. Takumi-san Konzo returned from the cleanup.
今日は気疲れしたでしょ。
Thank you. Is it poison? The fact that I checked my bowl for something green made me realize how ill-natured I was. Unfortunately, there was just how I was. I would at least keep my mask. Effectively give them. I sat down and put my hands together. Like this, it was simple. I only felt that something was wrong with it a bit later. At first, I thought I burned my mouth or something. But suddenly, I couldn't feel my mouth at all. The overwhelming of my tongue and ting, I lost sense of direction. My body twisted right as dull pain went through my head. I had been poisoned. I could understand that clearly, but all the processing power I went into dealing with the natural feeling attacked my body. I couldn't see properly. I couldn't breathe or speak. Despite that, I still had a burning pain in my mouth. I couldn't understand what was happening around me. It was probably pure chaos. It was only getting worse. A sudden impact hit my back, my body. Fusashi, Fusashi, my breathing stabilized for a moment. However, the nausea didn't end. A sound pooked again. I was beyond help. I would die in just a few minutes. Once I understood, accepted that, I found myself able to think a little. This was a gamble the wolves had taken. They killed the outside of the feast. They were prepared to face the corruption. They poisoned the food. By doing so, they could get rid of me or someone else.
違うわ
They could frame the crime on Kori-san. They could also destroy the fixed majority compromise. By sacrificing one of the remaining wolves, they gained a big reward. So the wolves were that serious. I'd been given a lethal dose of poison. There wasn't any hope for me, was there? How would I get past this? Just before my conscience faded into the mist, I saw a hallucination. Well, that's an ending. I'm gonna have to end it short. But I will upload soon again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, see ya.